Welcome back to it's Saturday, and you know what that means. Saturday SmackTalk, episode 2. We skipped last week because, well, life got in the way. Josh had to work. I had COVID. Yes, in 2025. I know it's quite the miracle right there. But what's been up, Josh?
Life, SummerSlam, getting ready for college football, and yeah, ready to jump back into it.
Right after SummerSlam, the worst possible timing of just getting sick or being in a spot where you have to fill in to go to work. But we'll go through SummerSlam and then jump into all the other latest happenings and the big news been going around inside the WWE, outside the WWE, in the world of wrestling. But night one, still recovering over here from being the sickness though. Night one at SummerSlam, we had, and yes, I lost the paper um, where we wrote down our picks, but for the most part, we pretty much agreed on everything. And there were a couple of ones that we didn't agree on, but it went the other way. But overall, I had four correct, and Josh, you had two correct with
Yeah,
the big ones being um, the cash in for the World Heavyweight Championship, Punk beating Gunther with a Rollins cash in, and then Gunther retaining and with a Rollins cash in. The tag match with Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul, we both got that one wrong. Jade Cargill and Tiffy, we both got that one wrong. Sami Zayn, I picked him. You picked Cross. We were opposite on that one. Now we of course know Cross has been in the headlines as of late with the news on that, which we'll get into. And then the women's tag titles, we both got that one wrong. We did both get Roman Reigns and Jey Uso, OT Yeet beating the Braun Brawns. We got that
right.
one right. And then Sunday, night 2, I can't for the life of me remember um, which way we went. I picked Naomi. I think you picked Io or Rhea. We went opposite on
Rhea,
this one. We had the
it's
Wyatt
Rhea.
Six retaining on the TLC match, Becky retaining, Solo retaining, Dom retaining, and then I had Cody with a heel turn. I believe you had Cody just
Yep.
winning. So any math wizards that watch this back later, do
We
that
did
math
both
for
have a
me.
heel turn actually, so because they really worked us up on Friday into thinking that or Monday or Friday
Yeah,
into thinking Cody was about to turn heel, be a bad guy, and of course the ultimate babyface is still the ultimate babyface as
yeah.
of now.
It turned into a torch passing of the torch over SummerSlam weekend, which I had said it could either go that way or could go go the way with Cody actually turning. But of course, why would they? When we want that from Cody, they don't do that. But
Right.
hopefully, as of now, he is our champion, unfortunately, and we very well could see him defend the title against Drew at Clash in Paris. Although right now, there are only 2 matches, hopefully 3. The third one gets added soon. The one that we knew about is off, Naomi versus Stephanie Vicaire. But Logan Paul, John Cena, and then the Fatal 4-Way, LA Knight, CM Punk, Jey Uso, and Seth Rollins. What are your thoughts on the 2 matches that we have and the third potential with a little asterisk beside it, pending with what happened to Naomi, of course.
Let's see. Well, the first one was what John Cena versus Logan Paul.
Yep. Yep.
Um, I think Paul's going to go over, but I don't think they're going to have Cena lose to a YouTuber, right? Because that's what they've been, you know, calling him. You're just a YouTuber that wrestles, So I think he's going to be putting over Paul, but I think ultimately Cena's going to end up with the win. He's only got 11 appearances now, so
Yeah.
that'll be 10 after that. I don't see them having him lose to Logan Paul in his last 10 or 11, showings or whatnot. So,
Yeah.
um, and
Yeah,
then
he is advertised for SmackDown on the 22nd in Ireland, and then Clash at Paris, and then I don't see SmackDown in Lyon, France on the 29th. Clash in Paris is the 31st, so 1, 2, 3. That's 3 right there.
we put him at
And
8 appearances left.
and then September 12th, Brock Lesnar is scheduled for SmackDown in Virginia. Monday, the 15th, September 15th, Cena is on Raw. Brock is on SmackDown again that following week. And these are directly from WWE.com under the tickets section, where you can see all the designated superstars. I think I thought they might do that one at Crown Jewel in Australia, but it looks like, and these just the news and headlines floating around, but they could be doing an unnamed pay-per-view on September 20th in Indianapolis, which is why Cena and Lesnar are both advertised for those couple of weeks there. I guess Brock Lesnar coming back at SummerSlam. We
Yeah.
completely missed over that. What were your immediate thoughts whenever you heard Brock's music?
Oh man. Shock and awe, right? But super excited to get a Lesnar Cena feud again, right? Because that was, I think, one of his first big feuds in WWE was him and Brock Lesnar, and it was so good. It was back when he was the Doctor of Thugonomics, right?
Mm.
And he was rapping. And he had the Master Lock chain, and he was really into that Doctor of Thugonomics character, which, let's not forget, saved his career, right?
Yeah.
Because he was about to get fired before they found out he could rap. And so very, very nostalgic for me hearing Brock's music come back. And then, I am very surprised that he is back because I haven't heard anything about him getting cleared from, the whole Vince thing.
Yeah.
And, that's a big risk to take with PR and stuff like that, bringing someone that's been even a little bit involved in that whole situation can be either really good because of how big the star is, or it can be really, really bad because of how big the investigation is. So I was a little surprised, but still super stoked that we're going to get a Lesnar Cena feud again. Now, if we can just figure out a way to get an Edge Cena feud, that would be prime.
Well, to your point, like you said, not knowing if he was cleared, he was cleared from WWE legal about a month before SummerSlam.
Okay.
So I don't think they would have given a thought to bring him back unless and until he was actually cleared by them
Right.
and their team. So he was cleared by their team, and then Triple H, he had said before in a press conference when they were actually doing the press conferences the normal way, that Brock is one of those guys that can do whatever he wants, and anytime he wants to come back, we're waiting on him to tell us, hey, I want to come back. And Paul Heyman did say and talk about this on the Ariel Helwani show, that a new deal did come with Brock returning. So we're not gonna. This isn't the last of the beast that we're gonna see with WrestleMania or SummerSlam next year being in Minnesota, and probably eventually down the line a WrestleMania being in Minnesota. A lot of circling around Gunther and Lesnar for his final match at WrestleMania Minnesota. And being 43 or 44, and also we know that I know they went back to Vegas so they can switch at the drop of a dime, but
Right.
Indianapolis is guaranteed a WrestleMania, and Minnesota is also guaranteed a WrestleMania. So
Okay.
within the next couple of years, one of those two cities is where we're going to see Brock throw down with unfortunately with Gunther, but it is what it is on that one.
I think it'll still be a good match, though. I mean, Gunther's an all-world talent. Brock Lesnar is a legend in
Yeah.
WWE, right? And he's still big and strong and good enough to put on a good match. So, but yeah, ultimately, super looking forward to Lesnar versus Cena again. Just very nostalgic for me, growing up watching that feud, and yeah, it's never disappointed. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
So
Another one. I know you said this nostalgia effect hit. Well, outside of WWE over in AEW, thanks to my beautiful wife, I occasionally watch it and occasionally pay attention to it. Sometimes I uh, definitely watch Outer Banks or another show while it's on Wednesdays. But Edge and or sorry, Cope and Christian are tag teaming together at AEW's next pay per view, Forbidden Door.
I did
So
see
they are
something
back.
about that in the headline. So
They are back.
yeah, it's very nostalgic. Edge and Christian, sorry, Cope and Christian. Um, let's just really call it what it is, Edge and Christian.
Yeah.
I'm super excited. I may tune in for that match. So I'm not a big AEW guy, but I would tune in for an Edge and Christian tag team match. So
Now that is some major nostalgia right there,
absolutely.
as Martina has says. Yes, there's other news surrounding AEW with WWE wanting to compete directly with them, same having shows on the same days. And I wrote this all down to have some notes with organization and everything. Woke up uh 20 minutes ago and or 40 minutes ago. I'll give myself some credit, but um yeah, can't find it for the life of me. So luckily I can remember that stuff off the top of my head and all the as my wife says every time, where do I put this? I have no idea, but I know it. Brad Mole is here. Heard Cope's contract is up later this year. Think he'll return for a match with Cena.
That's kind of why I brought that up. I would love to see an Edge versus Cena. I mean, really, that would be if you look back at who Cena has feuded with or had
Yeah,
matches with this year. Edge is really the only one that would be missing. He's gotten Orton, Punk, now Lesnar. He's had his matches with Cody Rhodes. Edge is really, I think, the only major feud from his career that we're missing. And it was, you know, if his contract is up later this year and he is able to work out a deal, even if it's, a short term deal to
yeah,
come
a
back
one-off.
for a few months to finish up, I think that would be honestly, the best way to wrap up John Cena's career and retirement run. Like, because that was absolutely top three feuds. I would have to say would be Edge and Cena, then Brock and Cena, and then Orton and Cena.
Hmm.
Top three.
This is all before my time, so I will take your word for it. And I mean, Cena and Punk, it was fantastic, and I know that they have the history there. Josh not facing The Rock is wild. That's a very good point. The Rock has to be has to be up there on that list. Got to be. And we know The Rock can do whatever he wants. So Edge's contract, Cope's contract being up later this year is definitely going to be fun to think about as we get there. My opinion, the best view was The Rock. That doesn't surprise me. Does not surprise me one bit.
Well, here's the thing. I think what made that feud so great is because I think there was a legitimate hatred that John Cena had for wrestlers that went and became Hollywood and came back and were whenever they wanted and were part time. And Cena is that guy now.
Yeah.
So I just don't see the feud being nearly as good as it was then because there was a legitimate hey Rock, I don't like you
Yeah.
because you left for Hollywood and you come back whenever it's convenient for you and you're a part-timer and I'm John Cena and I'm doing the John Cena schedule. It's I don't think it would be as good and I think they did it perfectly the way they did it.
Yeah,
Honestly,
yeah. You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Yeah, it would make for great TV, great build, and a great main event match. And who knows, they might do that because, as I was saying, they are wanting to directly compete with AEW and have more shows on the same weekends as AEW is having, and they are in talks to have Cena's final match be in December at Saturday night's main event. And the two
right?
dates that were being thrown around were, in fact, December 13th and December 27th, which December 27th is AEW World's End, which is their final pay per view of the year. Um, and then December 13th, I think it's just because that was another date that they had. But NBC is pushing for them to do it on the 13th because Saturday night's main event would be both on Peacock and on NBC. They are pushing for them to have it on the 13th because NBC and Peacock has a football game on their streaming service on that Saturday, the 27th. So they
Okay,
don't want to be competing with each other and the NFL and then WWE. So they're pushing for the 13th. We don't know if it's actually going to be Saturday night's main event. We don't know if it's going to be a different pay per view altogether. Don't know where it's going to be. They can swerve us and drop it and change the location for WrestleMania 4 years out and just go back to Vegas, but they can't let us know Cena's full schedule of dates and locations and whatnot.
right.
They owe us a match after robbing us of Rock and Roman, so that is the least they could do. Absolutely, it is. And how are we not going to do Cena and Roman? I mean, the last time we saw Cena and Roman, it was Money in the Bank, and then Brock returned after that a couple years ago. Um, I mean, the possibilities are endless, and they only have like we said, 11-ish dates, and they're winding down. So they're
Yeah.
really stretching out this Brock feud and throwing a Logan feud in there. Um, and who knows where they go? They go right to Brock now, or if they wait and then they go to someone else, and then after that, then they go to Brock, and how long that'll go, who knows?
Well, and that's the thing too, is because he has such a limited schedule. You know, if you try to get all of these guys in, they're gonna there there's not going to be any buildup for anything. There's not going to be any feud. Like if you try to bring in Roman and Rock and Lesnar and Edge, like that's four four people with 11 dates left, 11 appearances. You're gonna, I mean, at that point, you might as well just have nostalgia matches, right?
Yeah,
So while those were all great feuds, I think out of those four, the top ones, the ones that people really bring up a lot are Brock Lesnar and Edge
yeah,
every single time. You know,
yeah,
uh, The Rock and Cena was great. I loved it. It was heated. It was real. As far as the hatred, but like I said, when someone asked me, "What are your top three feuds for Cena?" It's Orton, Lesnar, Edge.
yeah.
Just magnificent.
For sure. And we already got, like you said, we already got Orton. We're getting Brock here soon to be determined where. Crown Jewel in October in Australia, or unnamed pay-per-view in Indianapolis in September. Who knows when and where, but they know that it doesn't matter when and where because everyone is going to watch it regardless. And Martina agrees with you, Josh. Fully put themselves in this position because they didn't need to give us all the Cody matches, and they definitely didn't. They did not need to. How does he get a rematch before Roman does? Brad back there, give me Edge and Cena for the final match.
Yep.
Depending on what timing of when his contract ends, and if Tony adds injury time back onto it because he was out for a while. Um, I don't think Tony is gonna let him go without a fight. Solely if and when his contract is up. I don't think Tony's gonna just let him go. He's gonna try to do everything he can to keep him in AEW just so he can't go back and have the final match with Cena there. Um, Other Clash in Paris matches, though, Logan and Cena is, and that is the main poster for, at least on WWE.com under the tickets. That is the main picture and the thumbnail for it. And then, of course, we have, um, according to Wikipedia, still we do have Naomi and Stephanie for the Women's World Championship. Although we don't know what's going on with Naomi. She's been deemed medically uncleared as she was supposed to face Io Sky last week on SmackDown, and then Io Sky ended up facing Roxanne. We don't know. We don't know what's going on. Her and Jimmy were on Stephanie McMahon's podcast this week. I didn't get to watch it though, so I don't know if she talked about what was going on. Um, a lot of chatter going around with what is going on, but until she announces it or WWE announces it, we won't really know. And then, of course, Fatal 4-Way match for the World Heavyweight Championship: Seth Rollins, CM Punk, Jey Uso, and LA Knight. That one going down. They pretty much are just like throwing this match together, throwing Jey Uso in there just for his entrance. Because he was just tagging with Roman. Why wouldn't they continue him and Roman against the Braun Brawns? CM Punk, yes, he deserves to be in this one. LA Knight definitely deserves to be in this one. Triple threat would have been fine, but they throw Jey Uso in there to make it a fatal 4-way. What are your thoughts on how this one goes down?
Let's be so serial here, right? These guys are all superstars. You said you got what? Seth, LA Knight, Jey Uso, and Punk. I
Yep, and
mean,
Punk. Yep.
like it's like a star-studded movie, right? And it's a
Yeah.
fatal 4-way. I mean, they're all pros. They're all great at what they do, phenomenal at what they do. I think it's going to be as Sheamus would say, an absolute banger of a match. And really anybody could win. I would not be surprised though if it was Seth, like, because he has some power behind him, right? He's
Yep.
got the Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed, two of the biggest, strongest, fastest guys in the company. So, um, we'll see. Martina mentioned Roman. Roman could come out and help, but I've got to give really the edge to Seth in this. He's got the backup. So even if Roman comes out to help Jay, that's one versus two other guys for Seth, and it's a fatal 4-way. So no DQs. So
Yep.
they're going to be out there. So unless we get a surprise showing from Jimmy or Sammy, right? Seth has the advantage.
Yeah. Seth isn't losing on his first defense. That's kind of how I'm going towards it too. I mean, again, I don't did need to be a triple threat, so they could have done it how they've done it. They always do it where Rollins pins Punk and then LA Knight and him continue their feud. As we see that was the reason behind Io's random championship match on SmackDown. She told Rhea that she wasn't the one that lost at SummerSlam, so that's why they were going that direction. Um, and Roman is on the main poster for the one that Triple H tweeted out. So who knows how he shows up, when he shows up, and if they do put the bronze on the card. There's only 3 matches now, so normal PLE they'll probably add 3 more matches. What 3 matches they add, who knows? Um, Last night we watched them announce the 6 man, and we figured that the 6 man would be put on Clash of Paris, and they did that right then and there on SmackDown. So
Yeah.
um, who knows? Who knows what we're gonna get? What else we're gonna get on Clash of Paris, and then after the aftermath of that is gonna be something, of course. So going back to SmackDown, the results for what went down. Of course, the 6 man tag match was made. That was the Solo and his MFTs kicked off SmackDown, and then it would be announced later that would be the main event. As you said, Jimmy came out, Sammy to help Sammy. Jacob came out also. We went into Alexa Bliss defeating Piper Niven. So the headline of Alexa Bliss defeating Piper Niven, but the thumbnail being those three standing tall over a champion is absolutely outrageous. Champions always looking weak on the blue brand does
Right.
never make sense to me. And what are your thoughts on Alexa and Charlotte as the tag champs, since that was one of the matches that we got wrong for
I
our SummerSlam picks?
I absolutely love it. I mean, I think that tag team is so over. They've played it up perfectly with not using the F word, the friend word, but you've got TikToks and Instagram reels of like Charlotte Flair doing Alexa Bliss's hairstyle, right?
Yeah,
And I think it's been really great for Charlotte more so than Alexa.
yeah.
I think it's allowed Charlotte to kind of relax and be back over with the fans. And I think she's just legitimately having fun in WWE again.
Another F word.
Versus, right, another F word, right? Fun and friends. And so I think she's having fun and she's enjoying being where she's at and being in the WWE and not chasing these crazy championships or feuds and it's good to see a wrestler, especially someone of Charlotte Flair's legacy and type, to just be having fun and enjoying the moment. It's really, I think, brought her out of her shell a little bit more, and the fans love her 10 times as much. So I think it's a great tag team. I hope they keep it going for a while. I don't know if they get a match on Clash in Paris with Piper Niven and Alba Fire. I don't think the feud's there. But I'm enjoying it on SmackDown for sure. So yeah, I love it. I hope they keep it rolling for a while.
Yeah, I mean they're if they were smart, they would do that the tag match at Clash in Paris and then have Chelsea be involved. Don't take the titles off them yet because it has been fantastic and it has been great. And some people, I didn't say this, but some people have said that those titles are cursed and that one of them would likely get injured right away and then they would have to switch it again. But keep it rolling for however long that they can, and then eventually see where those things can go. Because Charlotte with the title, it always feels like a big deal. And now Alexa holding a title, her reaction to her return at the Rumble was fantastic. I don't think anyone thought it would lead to a tag title run with Charlotte out of everyone. Um, yeah, the WWE the tag titles they've been doing good on SmackDown there. And who knows where it's gonna go? Are they gonna go and get a third member and then just do a 6-woman tag match at Clash of Paris? I know they'll never do that, but that'll end up being on the SmackDown before we get to Clash of Paris. But
Right.
that one from one tag team division to the other. The men's tag team division on SmackDown has been absolutely all over the place, and Nick Aldis has even said that he's trying to get some order to it. We had Mellow Don't Miz defeating Fraxium. They're back as a tag team after Miz went off and um, they seemingly broke up and then came back and whatever. They get a win. Um, and now they're going to be fitting into the tag team, I guess, as an actual tag team. That was a tag match, and then we went into McIntyre addressing his attack on against Cody. So they'll probably end up putting Cody and Drew on Clash of Paris. That's my guess for one of the matches that's going to be added there. Your thoughts on Drew and Cody in Paris?
I love anything that Drew is in. Let's be. I've not been disappointed with anything that Drew has been in. His promos are. I say I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say his promos are the best in WWE. Every time they're top notch, right? They make you question. Oh, like he's gaslighting you, right? And then this last one on Friday, he's like, "Let me take you through the crime scene," and he takes you through the whole deal, right? And it's just like, okay, well, all right. you got a point, Drew. Okay. And then I'm like, no, he's just trying to gaslight me. No, this is narcissism at its best. Like his Drew's promos are phenomenal. And he always has a great match. I would love to see him take the title off Cody at Clash of Paris. I
That
really
would be
would.
phenomenal. I could get behind that, and I would be a Drew fan if that went down. But we know that's not going to go down. We know that Cody's going to retain, and we know that McIntyre is going to beat the brakes off him for a good portion of the match, and then Cody's all of a sudden going to come back, and he's going to win. And I mean, for what you were saying, I fell asleep last night, so I missed SmackDown. Just going over the highlights here on the website there. But from what he did tagging with Logan, it was great. I was a fan. And from what you explaining for his promo there, I I'm I'm warming up to the idea of not being so much of a hater, and the fact that Punk's title reign was shorter than Drew's, is just hilarious all on its own fact.
Right. It's just
New
too
blood
bad it didn't
isn't
happen.
losing on his first defense, but Drew deserves the win. He definitely does. It
For
it,
sure.
it would be fine if he would actually win, but we know that he won't.
Right. Yeah. No, but it's I've always liked the Cody and Drew feuds though. I mean, if I'm being 100% honest, I've never been disappointed with the Cody and Drew feud. um but like I said, Drew just makes it seem so real, especially with his promos. Like when they had that backstage confrontation with Triple H about quitting, I was like, um, okay. So, and then he shows up with Punk on his shoulders, like
Yeah,
beat to a bloody pulp. Like, I'm like, oh, okay. He
in
did quit.
Chicago,
Yeah, in
in Chicago.
Chicago. Like, I mean, he's a bad guy, but he's a narcissistic bad guy that'll gaslight you into thinking that he's really the good guy, and he's so good at it. And he goes above and beyond, even on social media. You
Born
know,
at work.
right? Yeah. And then the one where he's like, "Oh, I'm stuck in Scotland. I don't know if I'll make SummerSlam or whatnot." And then here he is, like, I mean, Drew's absolutely killing it, and I hope he gets a championship soon. So
I'm still mad they never really circled back to the insulated alliance between Drew and Solo.
yeah, that was interesting. I don't know if I would like seeing Drew in any kind of extended alliance, but beyond, aligning with someone for a match or a couple of matches, because I feel like it would really just take away from Drew if we're
Yeah.
being real about this. Drew is so good on his own that I feel like if you put him in an alliance, a long term alliance with someone, he's going to be carrying that other person, and he
Oh yeah.
doesn't need that.
Remember that he beat up Punk, and it was implied that Solo had him beat up Punk. That we saw them backstage behind behind the backstage segments. That was which is crazy that they just we're gonna do this, but then forget all about it and then carry on. And that was a whole year ago. Yeah, absolutely. It there's so many different ways they could do, and I will say McIntyre, he is good at fitting in where they need him to fit into. He can be a top tier hater to anybody. Like hate on this guy, gotcha, I can do that. And then,
Yeah,
like you said, the whole narcissistic, gaslighting you into thinking that he's the victim. I guess that is more what he does than just plays victim. For a while, I just saw it as, oh, he's just playing the victim. But now that it does make sense to hear it explained that way. So
right.
I was definitely drinking the haterade for Drew McIntyre, but now I'm drinking the prime. So
Yeah, no, he's absolutely killing it, and I think WWE does that a lot too, so that way they can set up different avenues for themselves to take, based off because Triple H does hear the fans, we don't always get what we want. But there's a lot of times that we do get what we want. And Brock Lesnar coming back is a big example. There's a lot of people that have been clamoring for Brock Lesnar to come back. Bring Brock back. Bring him back. And then we went all through SummerSlam, 2 whole nights. And then, we just thought Cena was absorbing the last SummerSlam crowd reaction of him as a good guy. And, next thing you know, that guitar riff hits and Cena's like, so I think a lot of times things that we don't see come to fruition, like the insinuation that Solo and Drew are going to be, a lot allied up. I think they just set themselves up so that way they have avenues to go if that's what's best for business, as Triple H would say, So, and if it's not, then they'll swerve to what is best for the business or best for the storyline. So, it's smart on their part, I think, giving themselves outs and different ways to go versus just one way to go. And if it's not going well, you got to figure out last minute how to swerve out of it. So, Drew's great, but I don't want to see him in Alliance. I think it'll take away from him.
Yeah. It was fine for what it was in the moment, and it worked. And then, like you said, we see that it was just him being smart and enemy of my enemy is my friend more than him being in an alliance. Although from the Logan and Drew tag team, seemed to be really enjoying that. And I mean, it's funny that McIntyre had just done Impulsive and then got into a tag team program with Logan. So who knows? Maybe more of that in the future. They would be great if they continued it. They're going to be great if they don't. And now, like you said, with Brock returning after, as Cena was soaking in the final cheers of, because he said, "I want to hear it one more time," and Cody got out of there real quick, which is interesting that he didn't stay out there to be part of the moment and soak it in as well. But that does go with the whole passing of the torch thing, and Cody seemingly right now staying face for now. That promo from McIntyre went into the Street Profits beating DIY, so the former tag team champions getting a win. Not that it's going to amount to anything, but they did beat DIY, and then that went into the main event, which was the 6-man tag match, and Sami Zayn, Jacob Fatu, and Jimmy Uso defeating the MFTs, and that is how SmackDown ended. So I watched the first 20-ish minutes, I would say. So I fell asleep like halfway through the Alexa Bliss and Piper Niven match. Looking ahead at Raw on August the 18th. So coming up, Xfinity Mobile Arena in Philadelphia. So I guess they actually changed the name because it doesn't say Wells Fargo Center anymore. They're in Philly. Front and center, Roman Reigns is advertised. CM Punk is advertised. Seth Rollins is advertised. Rhea Ripley, Jey Uso, and Penta all advertised for Raw. So do we see Roman come out, and does he continue with this Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed part of the story that they're telling, or does he step to Rollins and step to Punk about the world title and go down that route of finally getting us to really think that he can go after Rollins and the World Heavyweight Championship and really take that title to new heights?
I think he's got to get his shoes back. Yeah. I think he's got to beat his bully, right? Because we can't that's just not how a story works, right?
Yeah.
And WWE is essentially a massive multi-country storytelling machine, right? And so you've got Big Bronson Reed bullying Roman Reigns and taking his shoes like this is the 1990s. Next thing you know, if he would just throw it over the telephone wire, it'd be perfection bully-wise. But, we can't just we can't just be like, oh, he took my shoes and made me his, you know, um, like, and he just goes a different route and just lets his bully win and take his shoes and beat him up. Like, no, we can't have that. He's got to get his shoes back. He's got to dethrone the Shulafala, the owner of the Shulafala,
The
okay,
tribal thief.
tribal thief, and he's got to get his shoes back. He's got to put a beating down on Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. Like, that is first and foremost. We're talking like, this is almost like prison rules, right? Like, you don't want to be the one that's punked. Okay,
Yeah.
you want to be the guy that's beating the biggest guy in the cells. Okay, get your shoes back. Take out Bronson Reed. Take out Braun Breaker. That is what we need first before anything else.
Go reclaim his yard. This is still his
Yeah,
yard.
he's the big dog.
He's
He's
the
the head
big
of
dog.
the table. He's the OTC.
He's the big dog. I'm
Right.
mad that they took Roman from the most dominant champion in modern history to getting his shoes stolen twice, getting beat down and beat up every week after week after week. If only he had another cousin, a much younger cousin, that could come in and help him, and even the odds against the Bronze. If only he had another cousin, um, uh, another Fatu in the big world of Samoans. If only, but if
Right.
only, right?
If only. Yeah. I mean, and that's another thing I've noticed too is like when Roman's out, Roman will come out and help Jay. He'll come out and help Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he'll come out and help Sammy.
Yep.
But when Roman's getting bullied and getting his shoes taken by, the tribal thief, where's everybody else at?
They was
Like,
getting beat down too.
like Jay didn't come out the last time that Roman was getting beat. Jimmy didn't come out, and he didn't get beat up that day. Like, where is the help for Roman? I see Roman coming out and helping all of these guys,
Yep.
and I see no help coming out for Roman. And I have a sneaky suspicion, maybe later on down the road, that Roman's going to get tired of no one coming out to help him when he's helping everyone else out in the family. So it's like, I know they may have gotten beat earlier or had a match earlier, but like, you can still come out later on in the show and help out your cousin or your brother, whoever. Like, Roman's done it and come out later on in the show to help out. So it seems Martina is on the same page with
Oh
me.
yeah.
So it's yeah, something's got to give, man. Roman can't be the all-time giver and not getting any help or respect at all.
Yeah. I mean, to your point, he was the one that took the spear from pushed Jay out of the way so he could take the
Yeah,
spear, and then Jay could ultimately win the match for them. They have exhausted Roman's redemption arc. Okay, we get it. He had to pay for being a bad guy for years, but he hasn't had a title in over a year. When does he get a friend? Yeah, I mean, it could be them playing the long game in this and really playing it and having him turn it up every single time um where he's going to go into that mode of showing Hollywood what he can do and really turn up the acting, and then ultimately snap down the road, as you said, gets three pairs of shoes stolen, and that's where he draws the line. Um, that's where he draws the line, and then snaps, and then he does bring in Azilla Fatu. He does. We do see them hold a tribal family meeting, and we see Sami Zayn and the OG Bloodline, and then he brings out Zilla or whatever, and then we see Roman and Jacob again, finally face to face, and kind of see where that could go.
Where's Tonga, by the way?
I think he's still hurt.
Okay.
I think he's still hurt.
I don't think we're gonna get the this to come to fruition anytime soon. I think a Roman getting tired of getting bullied and tired of not getting the help that he needs when he's giving so much help to everyone else. I think that's more of a should save it for a surprise. I'm going to turn my back on you at WrestleMania, and you're going to lose something valuable like a championship shot or a championship belt for someone. I don't want to see that on just a regular Raw or SmackDown. I want to be surprised, just like I was with Brock, at a major PLE like a
Yeah.
WrestleMania or Royal Rumble or a Survivor Series type of PLE. So, but I do think there's little seeds or little nuggets that no one's helping Roman, but Roman's helping everyone else. This is gonna get old.
Oh yeah.
So,
Oh yeah. It he's gonna say, see, this is why I never trusted you, because it can't depend on you. And then he's gonna turn it back to the mind games and the manipulation and the greatness of what he does, just for hopefully a Jacob Fatu to step up and then have those two have something, and then ultimately make amends, and then they really start to run it, and then just in time for Survivor Series and War Games, which is in San Diego at the Padres Stadium, and it's already sold over 25,000 tickets.
not surprised. Not surprised whatsoever.
Another bloodline, team in War Games. It just feels right. But who is Rollins going to have on his team? Since ultimately it's going to be Rollins, Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker. He would need two more guys. He would need two more guys for his team.
Well, and that's the thing is there's plenty of guys that they can recruit, even if it's just for War Games, right? I mean, there's plenty of bad guys. Drew may even want to get some revenge on Roman, right? Who knows where he can go anywhere. He can fight with anybody.
He could be
right?
a top. He could be a top tier hater for anyone.
Yeah. So I mean, we could easily see Drew McIntyre in there, which would be stellar, right? I mean, Gunter's a bad guy. He doesn't have a title, right?
I don't want to see Gunther in a War Games match.
Um,
I don't. I don't want to. I don't want to see that. Why would you put that out to the universe? He would be gassed before. He would be gassed while still being in the cage. He
I
wouldn't even
mean,
be out there yet, and he would
he's
be
just got to
gassed.
be the last guy to go in, right?
Oh,
So, but I mean, there's a ton of heels in the company. I mean, and that's still, while it seems super close, it's still far and away. We have plenty of time to build up the feud. Well, I mean, really, the Bloodline versus Seth Rollins group, it's not going to take much to build because they've been building it with Roman and his shoes and building that relationship back up with Jay and Jimmy and all that. So, I mean, really, they can go anywhere right now. It's completely up in the air. I would have absolutely no educated guess as to who it could be, other than maybe Drew McIntyre, because he can work with anybody and he hates everybody in the WWE. So, because they victimize him thoroughly, victimize him.
Do they victimize him? Do they make him the victim, or does he do a really good job of telling you that he's the victim?
Look, he said it, so it must be true. Okay.
I wonder who's gonna be the one to tell Roman, like Gunther told Jay, you have to stop worrying about everyone else and get back to yourself. If only he had an older cousin, a wise cousin,
Mm-hmm.
a bigger, older, wiser cousin. And we finally see The Rock and Roman back in the ring together. I agree. Drew is so versatile. He is keeping the grudge holding spirit of Bret Hart alive and well, and I love that.
Oh, I don't know. I think Bret Hart's keeping that alive very well himself, honestly. I don't know if you heard about him talking about SummerSlam. They invited him, and then they said they didn't have a
Yes,
seat for him. And I was
yes.
like, well, yeah, that's kind of because you're the original crybaby,
Oh, oh,
the original crybaby. Goldberg,
oh,
Goldberg, Goldberg, Goldberg.
oh,
Look,
oh, oh.
look, he was great.
I'm hearing the live reaction from Martina, who's standing 10 feet away from me as you are chirping at Bret Hart.
Yes, me, absolutely, absolutely. Look, I watched that match with Bret Hart and Goldberg, and I'm gonna be fully, and you're probably gonna hate this, but
Oh,
full send. I think Bret Hart had a concussion before he got kicked by Goldberg. I think when he did that figure four, or not the figure four, when he tied him up on the ring post and Bret Hart swung down, he hit his head, the back of his head on that ring post. I think he was concussed there. I fully think he was concussed there, and then look, the Hitman, he was an all-time great wrestler, great technician in the ring. Okay, but let's be honest, he definitely hit his head on that ring post, and that was a steel ring post to the back of the head. Could have easily been concussed. And if you look at the kick in slow mo, Bret Hart did kind of have his hands up, right? And I think he was concussed before that kick. Um, I just think because they rushed Goldberg in, um, that he wants to blame Goldberg for ending his career. But we've always had issues with Brett.
Goldberg. That is very very true. You have a point, but remember Goldberg almost did kill the Undertaker too. He was all over the place. And yeah, he broke Charles Robinson's ribs. That's why we haven't seen young Nate out refing anymore. Um, and also Charles Robinson with a broken freaking rib, apparently got bit by a bat as well
Yeah,
while he's been recovering.
yeah.
So
I don't know if
can
that's a
only
Goldberg
can
thing
only
or if
track
he just has the worst luck ever. Like, how are
can
you going to
only
break a rib and then get bit by a bat? Like,
can only track it back to Goldberg.
I
Can only
mean,
track it was Goldberg's fault.
well, and there's only so much you can do when that was a spot
Yeah.
where the referee is taking a spear from someone. I'm sure. Look, I'm sure Braun Breaker, if he had speared Charles Robinson, probably would have broken a rib too,
Yeah.
because he spears harder than anybody in the WWE. Flukes happen, but I fully think, I do think Bret Hart was concussed before that kick. Yeah, yeah. Charles Robinson, he'll be back though. He's just, I think, God, that guy has the worst luck. Getting bit by a bat after a broken rib, like, brother. Clearly, the universe is saying you need to take a break. So,
He he did. He has been surviving ref bumps for 30 years, but one spear from Goldberg and he's down and out for the count. What does that tell you? What does that tell you?
well, I mean, he is also what 50 something years old and comes back every once in a while for a match. So, should we really expect him to be as good as a Cody Rhodes or a Jey Uso or someone that is wrestling regularly and training regularly? Like, I mean, yeah, no. Brett did say anytime something happens to Goldberg, Brett comes out and says something about it. Goldberg ended my career. He ended my career. No, brother, you ended your career when you left for WCW,
Ooh.
and WCW was dying.
This is before my time, so I'm gonna let you talk your talk because I have no clue. I have no clue about any of that. I still can't go back and watch it on Peacock because it was just the quality was so bad. I can't do it. I
Yeah.
can't do it. Even it's like um watching old episodes of South Park and the animation is so bad. I can't do it.
Well, I think what kills most people on the whole Bret Hart situation is Goldberg has apologized multiple times, like to Bret's face, has apologized, for the whole situation, and Bret still does nothing but dog him all the time. Like, they gave him an opportunity, they pushed him too soon, right, into his wrestling career out of the NFL. Like, they gave him an opportunity. The man took the opportunity to make a ton of money and become a wrestler. Look, if they offered me an opportunity, brother, I'd be on it in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like, and it's a company that big. Like, you got to trust them to give you the opportunity. So I can't really blame him for taking an opportunity. They may have pushed him too fast, but the man has apologized. He's come out and said in interviews, "Look, I've apologized over and over and over." And he's at this point. He said, I can't remember who he was being interviewed by, but he was like, "I can only apologize so much. If he's not willing to, accept it, or if he just wants to keep dogging on me or whatnot, that's on him. I've done everything I can. I've reached out. I've apologized multiple times." I mean, at this point, I think that's what everyone's issue with Bret Hart is like, look, we get it. It sucks. But he did man up. He did apologize. He did reach out to you. And you're just refusing to accept the apology. And you're just talking trash about him every chance you get. Stop. Like, it's been 30 years. So, but it did allow for Gunther to have a really amazing comeback line when Bret Hart did show up to WWE. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
I don't know. If someone cost me $13 million, I'd be mad for life too. I mean, yeah. I don't know. That was all that stuff is way before my time, so I kind of sit back and watch the madness whenever that kind of talk gets started. But um, that was what a way to throw and give the name Saturday Smack Talk, other than you and Martina going back and forth in the chat with for old Bret Hart, because
Right.
that's her guy. That was her guy. That still is her guy. And yeah, the holding grudges, I see it still to this day. And yeah, but that yeah, I mean, we pretty much reviewed SummerSlam, talked a little bit about Clash in Paris, and went over SmackDown, previewed and predicted maybe Survivor Series. Who knows where that's actually going to go? Talk about the latest news, and we're about at that hour mark. So this was a great episode 2. Do you got anything else to add? And then we will before we're out of here, and then hopefully more breaking news goes down in this over the next week, and then we can really hit the ground with we episode 3 right away and get back on that consistency factor. I mean, going to add more into the mix because, as you said before we started, college football is starting up soon, and then the NFL is not too far long after that, and I cannot wait. In fact, and speaking of the NFL, the Steelers do have a preseason game tonight. So, Josh, I know you have your terrible towel ready and waiting to twirl that thing and watch them get another preseason
Whoa.
victory.
No, I got my
But you got
terrible towel in the trash can downstairs where it belongs. Okay.
I'm just messing. I am biased because Brett was the first wrestler I ever saw on TV, so I can't hate him.
No, it's all good. It totally vibes with the spirit of Saturday Smack Talk.
Absolutely.
I love it. Even though Brett was concussed on that ring post, but
Josh
no,
isn't
it
saying
totally.
that. People say that. Josh is not the one saying that. Other people say that. Just like Becky Lynch says, I'm the greatest to do this, but it's not me saying that. Sports Illustrated says it. Other people say it.
Right. Yeah. No, it was a great episode. Like you said, NFL's coming up.
Can't
College
wait.
football's coming up.
Can't wait.
I'm so excited, especially for week 1, Texas versus Ohio State at the shoe, number 1 versus number 2. First time Texas has ever been ranked number 1 in the pre-AP poll, and also I believe in the coaches poll as well. So that's going to be a massive game. To kick
Hey,
off the season.
timeout. Penn State's number 2. So that's 1 versus 3. Just throwing that out there. Penn State is number 2.
Oh yeah, I guess so. But technically, I don't know how they got up there, but yeah, that terrible towel is in the trash,
It should
along
not
with
be.
anything related to Philadelphia too. So
Now that part I don't disagree with on the Eagles part. Philly sucks. We can agree on that, but no, the terrible towel should never be in the trash. Should never be in the
well,
trash. It should be ready and waiting to
celebrate a winning season, but no playoff wins.
I mean,
That's the mantra.
Our Super Bowl cases are looking the same, so pretty dusty. So, have your fun with the second round exit again. Um, I'll keep my winning season
Do
record
we play
and
you
a
guys
first round
this year?
exit.
I need to see. Do we play you guys this year? Because I would really love to continue beating you guys again. Because I think the last time we played,
It was last year. It was in October. I know this because it was Sunday night and I was down here in North Carolina visiting. That was the first time that I visited down here, and I was hoping to be back in time to be able to watch that game. And that was the game that was like delayed for like 3 hours because of the weather and the rain,
yeah,
and then they ended up losing. Yes.
yeah, 20 to 17, and I think we beat the Steelers the last time we played in Pittsburgh too.
Last year was in Pittsburgh.
Well, the year before that was in Pittsburgh, or not the year before that, the time before that when we had Zeke and Dak in their rookie year. So I'll go ahead and just keep these bragging rights.
Back in 2021, the Steelers beat the. Oh no, that was preseason. That was in the Hall of Fame game, so that does not count for anything.
Yeah.
Here we go. Let's see. I mean, what do I got to type in here? Steelers versus Cowboys record head to head.
I think it was.
So overall, the Cowboys do lead the Steelers and have a 17 game to 16 game record. So you've won one more game against us head to head, but the Steelers do have a 2-1 advantage in the playoffs, and we do have 2 Super Bowls over the Cowboys. So just putting that out there. But
And the loss
in their last 5 matchups since 2004, the Steelers do have a 3-2 advantage, with all 5 games being decided by 7 points or less, which that's crazy. So
I think because this last one was 20 to 17, and the one before that was in Pittsburgh. That was when Zeke ran straight up the middle for that game-winning touchdown. Zeke and Dak's rookie year. So I think that was the last time we played before last year. So, I'll take the updated resume of us having the last 2 wins, both of them in Pittsburgh. So, but and you got
2020. That was that in November of 2020. That was in Dallas. That one was in Dallas, and the Steelers won 24-19. And then 2016, like you said, 35-30. That was in Pittsburgh. The one before that in 2012 was also that was in Dallas. So it goes back and forth. It goes back and forth. That's one of those great rivalries that we don't get to see. We don't get to see nearly enough. But
I can't say I'm not surprised that they're less than a 1 score possession.
Yeah.
Those are always great games, great dynasties, great franchises. You know, we'll see. We'll see what George Pickens does. Thank you for that, by the way.
Have fun. Have fun with it. Have fun with it. I have fun. Have
Look,
fun.
Dallas is going to have a scary offense. I don't know how anybody's going to stop. Because you got a great offensive line now, and then you've got Ferguson, Cavante Turpin, CeeDee Lamb, and George Pickens. Like who do you double cover, right? Because Cavante is the fastest man in the NFL.
Yep.
CD's phenomenal, puts up numbers. Even he put up good numbers without Dak most of last year. And then you've got George Pickens, who just makes phenomenal catches anywhere and everywhere on the field, right? So, and you've got a massive O line. So really, anybody could probably run behind that O line. Let's be so serious about this. With Jaden Blue and Phil Maffa and Javonte Williams in the backfield, and then you got Jake Ferguson, who's a baby Jason Witten essentially, right? And you've even got Schoonmaker, right? 2 tight end set. I mean, if you double somebody, you're leaving a threat open somewhere else.
Yep. Yep.
So,
And you said who's going to beat them? They will beat themselves. They will beat themselves in the second round of the playoffs, like they do every year, and that's going to be that.
well, we'll see. It'll be
So,
interesting.
so yes, I'll probably be laughing the second round of the playoffs as I watch the Steelers lose in the first round the week before. But I mean, hey,
I don't
it
know if
is.
Pittsburgh gets there though.
Why not?
I mean,
Everyone says this every year, and they end up getting there regardless. Watch quarterback. So I'm now a football analyst, and I know some of these words. Yes, I've successfully taught Martina football, and she's obsessed now, and she's a Steelers fan by marriage, or actually, sorry, scratch that, by her own accord. She has come to love the Steelers, and she is learning football, and it's pretty funny because her dad is a Cowboys fan, and she's now a Steelers fan. So I take great,
why,
great,
why
great,
would you
great,
do that to
great
her?
feeling in that. And wearing the Steelers jerseys and everything. So
Oh
and terrible
God.
towel and even my FedEx shirts she
Uh,
wears and steals
Martina,
my hoodies.
from the outside looking in on the Steelers, I just want to let you know that their biggest accomplishment I hear talked about every single year is that Mike Tomlin did not have a losing season
Yeah,
again. They may
it's
not make it
unheard.
to the playoffs.
It's
They may
unheard of.
not. They may not make it anywhere.
It's
But
unheard of.
that winning season.
Yeah, it's a great record, and it's something that Pittsburgh can hold near and dear to their heart since the Penguins, their consecutive streak of making the playoffs has been snapped the last 3 years, and the Penguins are owed a playoff appearance and win, just like the Steelers are. Hopefully, this is the year. I realize that I sound like Cowboys fans. This is the year versus this is our year. Um,
Yes, you're joining the dark side.
yeah,
I love it.
that's what it feels like being a Steelers fan as of late. But
I'm gonna get you a blue
I'm
bar.
ready to get hurt again, and it's almost that time, and I can't wait. And we have a better schedule this year. We don't have an absolute gauntlet of a schedule in the back half, but we do have some pretty tough teams throughout. So I'm excited and I can't wait. And we're just gonna have to see.
Yeah, it could be worse. You could be starting off at Philly season opener.
Could be worse, and I could be a Cowboys fan. I could be a Browns fan. So
Wow.
um,
I don't know. I don't see Aaron Rodgers. I see Aaron Rodgers either getting hurt 5 plays in or just not playing well. That's my prediction for the Steelers. I think I would have loved Mike Tomlin and Aaron Rodgers a few years ago, but Mike Tomlin and wheelchair Rodgers,
wheelchair Rodgers is crazy.
I don't see it going very well. I think he's turning into a ayahuasca Brett Favre.
Hey, now there. We also watched the Aaron Rodgers documentary, The Enigma, and it was really good. It was really good, and that's how he. That's just how he does. That's how he does his stuff. And people want to say what they want to say. That's fine. Kind of sums up being in Pittsburgh, regardless of who it is. But I mean, even the 5 plays. That's kind of crazy. You're giving him one more play than he had at the for the Jets in his
Yes.
debut for the Jets. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Either one more play than he had at the Jets and he's going to get hurt, or he's just not going to play well because he's not the Aaron Rodgers of before. Like I said, Mike Tomlin with Aaron Rodgers a few years ago, like absolutely, that would have been phenomenal. But then you also lost George Pickens. You have DK Metcalf, but you know teams know who to double cover. DK
Well,
Metcalf.
we also have Darnell Washington, who's a monster, and Aaron Rodgers seems to actually like to throw the ball in the middle of the field. So, who else is he going to throw to? Darnell Washington. We have Pat Fryermuth. Our tight end room looks phenomenal, and we have Calvin Austin, who's super quick and works his butt off. And then we have Roman Wilson, who's finally healthy-ish, I think. So we're gonna be just fine. We're gonna be just fine. And even if something happens to Rodgers, we have Mason Rudolph, and in Rudolph we trust. Rudolph can lead us to the promised land like he did 2 years ago. Honestly, he should probably be the guy. But we went and got Rodgers, and it's gonna be his swan song. So what better way to see Rodgers go off than to win a Super Bowl with the team that he beat a couple, all those years ago, and bring it full circle, and finally bring Lombardi back to Pittsburgh, and finally get TJ what he rightfully deserves. Speaking of TJ, what's up with Minka? Is are you going to pay the man? Are you gonna
Oh
pay the
no,
man, or are you going to let him walk?
he's 1,000% gonna get paid. Jerry likes the headlines though, right?
Apparently
There's a
so.
reason. There's a reason that the Cowboys are valued at $12.8 billion and are the
This is
most
true.
highest valued franchise, not just in the NFL but in the world.
This is true.
Even over the European soccer teams, which is really saying something because we know how much money they make just over in Europe. And no, it's all 1,000% for headlines. 1,000%. Yes, wheelchair Rogers, I love it. So he's going to get paid. And here's the thing: the leverage is all in Jerry, okay, and the Cowboys. He's under contract, right? So um, he's not going anywhere unless Jerry trades him, and Jerry's not going to trade him. And then after that, if his contract ends and they haven't negotiated anything, he can franchise him for 2 years.
Yeah.
So really, Micah doesn't have the leverage that like Myles Garrett may have had with the Browns, where he can be like, "Oh, I want to be traded," and then they cave and they're like, "Oh, we'll pay you whatever you want," and because they're desperate to hold on to any good player in Cleveland, and so really he's going to get paid. I think Jerry just wants the headlines right now, and he's got them. He's on every. They're talking about Jerry and Micah and the Cowboys. Every single sports show, like,
This is true.
but in reality, if you look at it, Jerry and the Cowboys hold all the leverage. He can request to be traded all he wants, but ultimately it's a business. He's getting paid, I think, like $20 million, right? Because he was a first-round draft pick, so It's not like he's making cheap money. But I don't know. It could be. I don't know what their salary caps look like next year, but maybe he's working something out where he has more money next year and can pay him more at the end of his contract. But like I said, Dallas holds all the cards, 1,000%. Or he's going to sign him the day before the season starts, like he did with CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott.
It's what the Steelers usually do. So I think that seems to be what the Steelers are waiting to do with Cam. So
Right.
it'll work out how it works out. And as we get closer to football, this can be more of the topics here at Saturday Smack Talk. But we this was another banger of an episode. I'd like to add that I asked Nick who the most valued team was. I guess the Cowboys because they are America's team, and I was right.
That's right. They are America's team. Martina, you hit the nail on the head. They are America's team. They will always be America's team.
Only because the Steelers said no. Just throwing that out there.
No, they said we just want winning seasons, not Super Bowls, in America's team's nickname.
We have the same amount of Super Bowls as the Cowboys do. Just saying.
Yeah. But we beat you guys for one. So there's
4-1. We beat you 4-2. Just throwing that out there.
So, yes, the Cowboys are America's team. They are the highest valued. They've been the highest valued for ever, it seems like. So,
yeah.
But that's Jerry's a businessman. And he knows what brings in the money, what brings in the headlines. I think really I think we'll get a Super Bowl when he's dead. When he's gone. So, but we'll see. I also like what Brian Schottenheimer's doing. You know, they started getting in too many fights there at practice, and he started making them run gassers. He's like, all right, you want to fight? Cool. This is what we're doing.
Yeah.
Like, it's a very different culture that he's trying to bring in than anybody else, like McCarthy and good job, or the clapper, Jason Garrett.
Yeah.
I know you just failed miserably, but good job. We'll get him next time. Yeah, no. So we'll see. I think he's doing the right things. I'm excited to see what he's doing. He wants to put in a lot more motions and everything, and kind of confuse the defense a little bit. So, we'll see how it goes. But I like where it's going. So, yeah, absolutely great episode. Looking forward to next week, and looking forward to football starting. And don't forget, you guys also have to get past Baltimore too.
I'm not scared of Baltimore. I'm not scared of Baltimore at all. We're going to split with them or sweep them just like we do every other year. And that's just how it's going to be. The AFC North is going to continue to be just heavyweight bouts with Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and Cincinnati if they can stay healthy. And that's how it goes. That's how it will always go. And I don't know. I'm here with the Steelers for this season because I know what can happen. I know what should happen. I know what can happen, and probably what's going to happen is they're going to let me down in the first round like they do every year. We're going to sneak into the playoffs, or we're going to cruise into the playoffs and then lose in the first round. Regardless, just like y'all will go have your ups and downs and then win a couple last minute, win a couple straight and get into the second round and then lose. So,
we'll see. It'll be interesting. All right, brother.
Definitely will be. So that was episode 2, and you can catch the replay on all the Facebooks, the YouTubes. This is going to be up on Twitch and Twitter for the Tired Sports Network. This is Saturday Smack Talk, presented by the Tired Sports Network. Josh of Lace 'em Up Sports Media. Me, Sleeper Sports Media. Be on Spotify here momentarily or within the next day or two. So thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
Ah,